Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 27 from Mirage Studios. This issue came out November 1989. And this one was by Michael Dooney. So this is the return of Complete Carnage and Radical, who appeared earlier issues. And this one has like a different take on them, which we'll get into as we're going through the story. So we start off with Donatello, and he's sleeping. And he hears like this weird voice in his head, do you dream of my daughter? Do you hear her struggling? Then he wakes up as a giant on this land next to this old Indian chief, and he basically realizes like he's like in this dream world, and in front of him he sees giant animals, and he sees Complete Carnage fighting Radical, and Donatello's like, I can't just stand here, like I have to help her. So he rushes over to try to help. And as he's rushing over, he starts getting bigger and bigger until he's about the same size as Carnage and Radical. And then he fights Carnage just as he wakes up. And his brother's like, what the hell's wrong with you? What's going on? And he's like, I had this weird dream. And his brother's like, about Complete Carnage? And he's like, yeah. And it turns out that all the other brothers had the same dream. We jump somewhere else where Radical and Complete Carnage wake up. And Complete Carnage uses a nearby highway to basically sink into it and disappear. And Radical is like, she's too weak right now. She has to gather her energy. And then we see Splinter. And Splinter is talking about like, I have had dreams as well. I don't know if I've shared the same dreams as you, but in my dreams, I have not met the one that you call Complete Carnage. But I have dreamt of great peace and great destruction in a giant neon buffalo. So the turtles are like, that neon buffalo sounds kind of familiar. So they're able to track down the neon buffalo. It's like this giant sign or whatever. And while there, they see Radical. Radical explains that she is not a superhero, but rather she is the granddaughter of a powerful shaman who died years ago. And the turtles are kind of like weirded out because they're like, we just saw him in a dream. How can he be dead? And then we cut to Complete Carnage, who wakes up, and he's like walking down the street in this old town, and he sees like, radical price cuts. And of course, he gets pissed off because he sees the word radical. And we come back to Radical, who is doing some kind of Native American ritual, and she like talks to the spirits or whatever. She's basically trying to get like answers from the spirits about what's going on. And the Radical tells the spirits about Complete Carnage and how the white man came and changed the world, and he draws powers from the man-made structures of rock that the white man brought over. And I'm like, oh, okay, white man bad, I guess. Whatever. So yeah, and then this like air spirit shows up and answers Radical's call, and basically tells her that it doesn't matter how strong your opponent gets, you got to remember your own strength. And Radical tells the turtles, this land right here is powerful in Native American magic. We have to somehow draw Complete Carnage back into this place through the dream, and then we can stop him for good. Like, this place will hold him down. And so we cut to Carnage, who's in the sewers, and he's tired, but he doesn't want to sleep because he knows when he dreams he'll meet Radical. But he falls asleep anyways. And that's when we see Radical talking to the turtles again. And Radical explains her story about how she at first assumed that she was a superhero because she thought she got her powers from like the lightning, like radioactivity or something. But it turns out that the lightning had nothing to do with her powers. Instead, what happened was the particle beam that she shot, like, it wasn't really like a particle beam that like, explodes or whatever. It was just a way to like open her eyes. Like she realized what she really was. Like, she's the granddaughter of an Indian chief. As a child, there was this boy who used to work for her grandfather, and one day her grandfather and her were like watching the beavers play, and her grandfather explained that these aren't ordinary beavers, but they're the children of the great white grandfather beaver who holds like the planets on this beam, and every time it gets upset, it gnaws at it, and that what causes chaos and stuff. Basically, a bunch of stuff like that. Anyways, one day the boy got a rock and he threw it at one of the beavers, but Radical was able to block it just in time. And the beaver grew angry, and guess they gave Radical spiritual powers because the that day Carnage was cursed, and that's how he became complete Carnage. And so the spirits gave her power so that she can fight Carnage. And it's just weird and mumbo jumbo-y, and I hate this new origin. I prefer the other one. I mean, the other one was this. It was weird in itself in that it was just, two people struck by lightning. But I liked the balance that it had. Basically, it was two people who were hit by the same lightning bolts, and one of them became evil, and the other one became good. But the thing was, Complete Carnage was shown to be a good person before he got hit by the lightning. Or at least that's how he was described. He was described as a good person, but then the lightning bolt made him evil. So having him as a child trying to kill a beaver by throwing rocks at it doesn't make any sense because he was supposed to be good. He was a good person who got hit by lightning, and because of that, it made him deformed and kind of destroyed his mind, and he became evil. But then at the same time, Radical, who was just this ordinary girl riding on her bike, got hit by the beam, and now she's a force for good. And now they're basically two sides of the same coin. They're duality. They're and I like that because there's like that connection where like they represent the opposite of each other, and because of that, it's like they're always bound to fight each other for all eternity. And it's just this weird but interesting story. But now it got changed, and now it's, oh yeah, he was always a piece of garbage, and he tried to kill animals when he was young, and he got cursed to be evil. And I'm a Native American who was blessed by the spirits, and I represent nature and all that's good, and he represents man-made obstacles and stuff, and because of that, he's evil, and it's just I hate that. I think that's stupid. Like, I like the original story. I don't care for this origin. I prefer the original. But anyways, she explains all that. She jumps into the dream world where she finds Carnage, and she gets him to chase her, and she does, and she leads him to where the turtles are, and the turtles are basically fighting her. And as they're fighting Carnage, Radical's trying to do some kind of Native American ritual. And basically the turtles have to buy her enough time to complete it. But eventually Carnage is able to beat all the turtles. And they're not able to buy enough time. Like, she's not finished yet. But she's forced to fight Carnage. And as she's fighting Carnage, she tells Donatello, like, Donatello, you must complete the spell. And Donatello's like, me? But I've only read a couple of books on Indians. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. And all of a sudden, she yells, remember Donatello, Coyote. And he's like, oh, right, Coyote the Trickster. So he draws Coyote the Trickster just as Carnage grabs Radical and throws her. Well, he grabs her and he slingshots both of them into the highway. But as they're going into the highway turns into water. And then this giant water fist comes out and grabs Carnage and pulls him into the water, and as it does so, it turns him into water and spreads him out and drains him away, and that's how they get rid of Carnage. And Radical congratulates them, and then Donatello is chilling out on a rock. Yeah, like he hears a voice like, tell me what you hear, and he says, I hear the spirit of the wind, and he sees Radical flying off in the distance, and that's how that ends. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. I didn't care so much for this one. Like, I hate the whole the spiritual take. I preferred the original origin. Like, I don't like this whole Native American, one with nature, we are good, white man, man-made obstacles, evil. And it's just the people who think the Native Americans weren't doing anything to nature, go read some books, go see what the Native Americans were doing to nature and to nature's animals and to each other. It's not as noble and stuff as media has portrayed them to be. That's another story. I don't want to really get into all that. I'll just say I don't care for this. I don't care for this take. I don't care for this whole spiritual stuff. I preferred the original take. I thought the original take had more to it. It had more nuance. Yeah, it's weird. We got hit by lightning bolts, now we have powers. But it's what they did with that afterwards. It's the fact that you took a guy who was good and you made him evil. It would have been nice if you took a girl who was not evil, but like not necessarily good. Like maybe she was like self-centered and stuff, and now she's a hero who has to protect others. That would have been an interesting take. But I liked just the fact these two people who were hit by lightning bolts, the same lightning bolt at the same time, and it turned them into two completely different people. One of them became pure evil, the other one became pure good, and now they're forced to battle each other for all eternity. And yeah, they don't have any other enemies, any other rivals. It's just them. They just hate each other for reasons that are out of their control, in a sense. And they're basically, yeah, two sides of the same coin who are bound to always be at opposing ends. Like that's like a cool story that you can like make something out of. Instead, they completely cast that aside to tell some kind of spiritual Native American thing, which we literally just had in the previous issue with the Old Man River stuff. So it's like it feels like you completely changed the story to kind of give a moral, I guess, about nature good and all that stuff, which we just had also with Native Americans in the previous arc. So I don't know. I'm not saying that they just retold the same story, but it's like you're using the same themes from the previous arc and you changed something that was cool to fit a theme that we just did when you could have taken this in a different direction. You could have had Radical's background be different. Like I said, like she should have been more spoiled, more self-centered, more all about me, whereas Complete Carnage was more self-sacrificing. Like literally his origin was that he was like a construction worker and he was putting in the rebar, and even his boss was telling him, okay, like it's storming, there's lightning, like get out of there, let's go. But he's like, no, I gotta finish this before I can leave. And that's why he gets hit by lightning. So it would have been nice to see their two origins more in detail, where we have Complete Carnage. He's more self-sacrificing. He's a good, generous person. He has a wife and kid who he loves and adores and showers with love, and they love him in return. And then we have Radical, and Radical can be like more snobby, self-centered. It's all about me, kind of using other people to get what she wants. And then they both get hit by lightning, and then for some reason it flips their personality. So Carnage, he gets more deformed. He kind of, his mind starts kind of breaking, becomes a bit more evil, and because of that, he loses his family and his loved ones and his job and everything that he had. His whole world comes crumbling down. Like his whole world comes crumbling down as his mind starts crumbling down, and he becomes just, drowned in evil. And then Radical could be the flip side. She goes from like, self-centered, snobby, blah blah blah, and now she's more generous. She's more loving. She realizes that I've been doing this all wrong. Like I should be a better person. And now she's like in the role that Carnage was. And you get this thing where it's like Carnage didn't deserve anything that happened to him, but he's forced this way now against his will. And Radical, she is able to make the change. So now you have another duality where you have one person who's like, he's forced to be the way he is. And we have Radical who like realizes she can use her powers to be good. And so she makes that change willfully. So one's basically a slave. The other one is free to make their own decisions. And now they're battling each other because of their different ideology, and because like faith just basically has it out for them. Like now you are forced to forever fight each other for all eternity. Your powers are the complete opposite of each other. Your personalities are now the complete opposite of each other. You are the duality of each other. Like one represents good while the other represents evil. You're mirror images of each other. That could have been like an awesome story that they could have told. But instead they threw it all away for this nature good, man-made bad story that is not unique, is not new, is not, different. You literally just had something similar in the previous issue. So I didn't care for it. I didn't care for that change. yeah, I thought they wasted a really good opportunity, and it really is a shame. So there you go. There is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 27 by Mirage Studios. Me, probably one of the weaker guest era stuff that I've read. I mean, it's not the worst. There have been way worse. The time traveling little girl one is the worst in my opinion so far that I've read. This wasn't a good one. This one was a wasted opportunity in my opinion. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. What are your thoughts? Do you like this change with Carnage and Radical, or do you like my idea more, where I basically expand upon the original origin for them? I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.